Hugging Face is raising at a huge valuation. Stability AI has released a very cool doodle-to-image tool, and the Screen Actors Guild has joined the Writers Guild of America in striking in large part against AI. Welcome back to the AI Breakdown Brief, all the AI headline news you need in 5-ish minutes or less. We start today with a story that could very easily be the subject of an entire full episode of the AI Breakdown, which is, of course, that the Screen Actors Guild has joined the Writers Guild of America in their strike. Now, this is the first time that these two unions have been on strike at the same time since 1960, when Ronald Reagan was the head of SAG. Now, of course, if you've been following the strike at all, it's not just about artificial intelligence. There are many issues of contention, but at the same time, it's hard to deny that AI has emerged as the embodiment and representation of everything that this fight is about. That only ratcheted up yesterday when the Screen Actors Guild formally joined the strike, given how much they identified an AI proposal from studio executives as pushing them over the edge. The Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers released a statement that said, AMPTP member companies entered into contract negotiations with SAG-AFTRA with the goal of forging a new mutually beneficial contract. The AMPTP presented a deal that offered historic pay and residual increases, substantially higher caps on pension and health contributions, audition protections, shortened series option periods, and a groundbreaking AI proposal that protects actors' digital likenesses for SAG-AFTRA members. A strike is certainly not the outcome we hope for, as studios cannot operate without the performers that bring our TV shows and films to life. The union has regrettably chosen a path that will lead to financial hardship for countless thousands of people who depend on the industry. Now, to say that SAG members were gobsmacked by the description of this AI proposal as groundbreaking is not saying it strongly enough. One of the lead negotiators for SAG, Duncan Crabtree Ireland, had this to say about it.
The groundbreaking AI proposal that they gave us yesterday, in that groundbreaking AI proposal, they proposed that our background performers should be able to be scanned, get paid for 1 day's pay, and their company should own that scan, their image, their likeness, and should be able to use it for the rest of eternity in any project they want with no consent and no compensation. So if you think that's a groundbreaking proposal, I suggest you think again.
Now, in response to this, a spokesperson for AMPTP basically said that that's not exactly true. That statement read, "The claim made today by SAG-AFTRA leadership that the digital replicas of background actors may be used in perpetuity with no consent or compensation is false. In fact, the current proposal only permits a company to use the digital replica of a background actor in the motion picture for which the background actor is employed. Any other use requires the background actor's consent and bargaining for the use subject to a minimum payment." Now, frankly, it seems here like the AMPTP is quibbling over details when SAG is getting the message loud and clear that they're only needed a very little bit and then AI can take it from there. Listen to this clip from the speech given yesterday by SAG-AFTRA President Fran Drescher, probably best known for her role as the nanny in the 90s, and it's pretty clear just how front and center this AI issue really is.
They stand on the wrong side of history at this very moment. We stand in solidarity, in unprecedented unity. Our union and our sister unions and the unions around the world are standing by us, as well as other labor unions. Because at some point, the jig is up. You cannot keep being dwindled and marginalized and disrespected and dishonored. The entire business model has been changed by streaming, digital, AI. This is a moment of history that is a moment of truth. If we don't stand tall right now, we are all going to be in trouble. We are all going to be in jeopardy of being replaced by machines.
What we have here is the first live action battle between a labor movement on the one hand and a management class on the other who now has access to super advanced AI. The battles around the transition to a world where AI exists are going to be immense and numerous. And I anticipate that part of the reaction won't just be people reskilling and retraining and changing everything that they do, but actively organizing in a way that we haven't seen for decades to try to exert some control around how much ability corporate leadership has in various industries to transition people out and AI in. Holding aside any determination of right or wrong or justice or not, this will, I believe, set a template for other labor organization in other areas that will have an impact on how AI is rolled out. Next up, staying in the realm of battles, Twitter has filed a lawsuit against 4 companies claiming that they scraped large amounts of data from the service without permission or payment. The lawsuit says, quote, "These requests have severely burdened X-Corp servers and degraded the user experience for millions of X-Corp's customers." Now, in and of itself, this wouldn't be all that interesting, but in the context of this week Elon announcing XAI and all the legal threats he has made over the last couple months around Twitter data, it really does seem like the picture is becoming clear. Twitter is not just a service that he loves, it is a trove of data that can train their particular AI models that they are working on, and it looks like they're going to avail themselves of the legal system to make sure that no one else can do that without their permission. Moving on, another gnarly update in the saga of Stability AI. This is a company that has been beleaguered by not-so-generous press reports and accusations from early founders, and there is now another one. An original co-founder of the company, Cyrus Hodes, has claimed that current CEO Ahmad Mostak tricked him into selling his 15% stake in the company by convincing him it was worthless, even at the same time as he was going out and having meetings with venture capitalists that would ultimately lead to a $100 million venture financing round. Now, the lawsuit also has other allegations against Ahmad, including that he embezzled external investors' funds for his personal use. Now, I, of course, have no idea what the truth here is. That'll be for the courts to decide. But I do agree with Josh Wolf when he writes, "Every tech movement in its first phase of hype cycle has fast and loose early chaos that self-corrects and demands tightened scrutiny and cost of capital for future companies in phase 2. And I have to say, just because they've been beset by scandals, Stability AI has certainly not stopped pushing new products out. Their latest is something that they call Stable Doodle, which takes sketches and turns them into real pictures that then can be modified using natural language inputs. There are a ton of creative implications for this: prototyping, design, graphic novels, gaming, designing worlds, you name it. This, I think, is a really natural flow. And of course, on top of any sort of business or professional uses, this is just going to be incredibly fun to play with. And last up today, Forbes is reporting that Hugging Face, the GitHub for machine learning, is raising a new $200 million venture round at a $4 billion valuation. That's up from $100 million raised on $2 billion last year, so not bad for about 12 months of work. Now, obviously, if you are invested in the open source part of this space, Hugging Face is a huge asset. So I, for one, am certainly excited to see them have more resources to build. Anyways, guys, that is going to do it for today's AI Breakdown Brief. If you're listening to this, go check out the YouTube. If you're watching this, go check out the podcast. And until next time, peace.